Okay, so hi again. Yeah, I'm bored. I'm really bored today. But this is kind of like my Tuesday marathon. We're off. I'm ranting, icing my leg. So here's video number 3. Other two are uploading right now. Two totally different subjects, but this one kind of falls in line with the other one. Now, in the other one, I mentioned that I was the girly girl that got hired to do this very masculine job when I was still a girly girl. And I've had to deal with a lot of misogynistic type of attitude and discrimination and judgment for that matter. So this kind of goes along as the storyline inside of that. So I had a friend of mine, I was at her anniversary party, and I had met one of my management's relatives. And so when she introduced me to this relative, um, not knowing that there was a relation there, but she was like, "This is me. I was the one, the first female they had hired after like X number of years, over a decade. It was like, I think it was somewhere between 15 and 20 years. They had not had a female driver on those books. Just give you an idea. Now, they had only had, I think, one female prior to me who actually drove a mixer. And that had been decades ago. And then they had two, I think, operate tankers, which basically it's like a dry bulk container that they suction the cement and the fly ash and stuff into the silos to batch the truck to make the mix and send us on our way, kind of thing. They had two of those at one point, but it had been years, and we still don't have a female doing it. So now we have a lot of dump trucks and whatnot. We didn't have many of those when I started. So anyway, we have a lot of dump truck operators that were female. And the girl that had introduced me to this family member of management had she actually had started off in the mixer, but her forte basically is something else, and hours and whatnot, all of the reasonings behind it. But she moved into a dump truck full time, and we pull her out when we need her. Like when I broke my leg, she was in a mixer, covering down, because I wasn't the only one who got broken. We had a couple other people. Yeah, January is workers' compensation injury month. I had said for I don't know how many years in a row, I'm taking this whole month off. I'm just going to avoid it altogether. So anyway, so when she introduced me to this family member, it went over my head. I didn't understand what she meant exactly. So what she had said was, "Oh, so these women there must be riding your coattails." I was like, I don't, I guess. I had no fucking idea what she meant. And I sat there thinking about it, and the friend who had introduced me to this woman had I sat there thinking about it for a long time because I didn't understand exactly what she meant by it. And no, I sucked at this. I'll honest to God fucking tell you. My first pour was a fucking disaster. Now, I got a little bit of alibi for injury. When I was trained, I was training on a truck that had pedal control for the bowl operation. And then when I got my own mixer to go out on my own, they cut the apron strings from the training element. They put me in a truck that had a stop and a toggle button switch on the joystick that moved the chutes. I'm not a video gamer. Anybody knows me who has had to program a PS systems joysticky thing. Oh my God. It's all fucking upside down. My brain does not work normal. Okay. So anyway, I'm in this, and it's the first time so bad without my trainer there, right? in a truck that I'm not familiar with. Oh, it was embarrassing. I almost, it was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this. So anyway, so when she said that, and I sat there reminiscing. Now, the friend, this woman has been driving 18-wheelers, diesel operation. She has got knowledge that far exceeds. She has got skills that far exceed. However, she'd never done the concrete thing. And she came in about 6 months after me. And she took to it like a duck to water. I was still nervous. Fuck, I was still nervous 2 plus 3 years in to doing this job, right? So when I meet this woman, she says that to me, and I sat there and I pined over it. I was like, what does she mean by that? And I finally, it bugged me enough to where I actually looked it up to what it meant, what she meant by it. And then it came to I was like, no. They do not ride my coattails, because there's a lot of women that we have hired that have a lot more experience than I ever had. However, my crazy ass spitfire, no tolerance for misogynistic attitudes paved the fucking road for them. Because what I had to deal with, I nipped that shit in the bud before other females came into the atmosphere, and they didn't have to deal with it in quite the intensity that I had to deal with it. Now, I had come from a predominantly male environment. I had left the military probably a year before. I was used to being in an element where it was like male dominated. There's many of occasions where I'd been out at ranges, and because I was an armorer, I was the only female there, right? And I had a fantastic unit. I can't say anything bad about it. My unit, the battalion I was in, these guys, they were like top notch, and it's like I couldn't have been more blessed, right? To be in an atmosphere where there's like, 100 men out there, and I'm the only female. Literally. And I was not uncomfortable. They looked at me like I was one of the guys, that kind of thing. It was that type of attitude that I got very comfortable with. Now, I would listen to them talk amongst themselves and hear all the slapstick shit that they would say to each other, and I kind of like saved it in my little memory bank. I might need it later, kind of thing. And some of this stuff was hilarious. Some of the shit that they would say, I would just belly hurt and funny, right? And I saved it for later. And they created a very strong and forthright, confident woman. This battalion this unit that I was in. So moving ahead from that, I sat there and thought about it. And that is when I came up with, no, they don't ride my coattails. But I paved the road. And nipped the shit in the bud. They didn't have to deal with the struggle that I dealt with. It basically got the whole outside element of the finishers and the contractors and whatnot accustomed to the estrogen that was now coming in. The owner of my company, he had said at one of our Christmas parties, he says, my girls, holy, I need 10 more just like you. Me and this friend. And he got his wish. And then some. There's a woman at one of our plants. She's way up north. She's been doing this occupation for 20 plus years. Now, that company, she was kind of attached to the company that we bought out and expanded our element. And she's absolutely wonderful. She knows how to batch. She knows how to dispatch. She knows how to drive. She knows every aspect of this industry. And when she came in, she is the queen and I am the princess, kind of thing. But the women that we have hired behind us, like the friend, she had to deal with something one day. I felt so bad. And God, she's got the grace. Grace of Jesus, this poor woman. Anyway, they were being mean to her. These finishers are just stupid. And I had worked with them before, and I went to bat for her. I was like, oh, is she where I think she is? And he's like, yeah. I said, yeah, they're stupid. Yeah, don't entertain that bickering, whatever they're complaining about. They put themselves into that position. That ain't her fault. But when she radioed, she's like, all I'm saying, they're not very nice, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I was like, I could have added a whole paragraph of crazy to that to explain exactly how miserable these fuckers were. And I had poured for them before, and I was not happy there that day. And this poor, very gentle woman ended up getting stuck working with this crew, and I felt so bad. But, I was in the office with our dispatcher when her radio play came through, and they had mentioned she's dripping all over the sidewalk. And I was like, well, if they did all this work before they put the sidewalks in, they wouldn't have this freaking problem. If they brought plastic to put underneath her chutes in order to catch whatever drips, because I can guarantee she's got 4 chutes on and she's pouring over a sidewalk that they have not prepped and protected from this type of shit. She can't help that the laws of physics are working against them. And my dispatcher was like, fair enough. So paving the road as opposed to riding coattails, there is a huge difference. So, yes, my mouth has gotten me in trouble. I have been, said, don't ever send her back here. Well, that's because they got proven wrong, or their attitude was so nasty that I blew my stack. And it wasn't just to me, it was to the entire situation. And it's good. Make my wish comes true. I don't want to work for them. I don't want to work with that company. Those finishers can go kiss my ass. Send them every rookie we have. Make their life a living fucking nightmare. So there. So this is just kind of like a tail end to this environment. Not tooting my own horn. It took me years to get really comfortable with it. Stressed the fuck out. Oh my God. Some of these situations I was in, I didn't think I was going to get out alive. I have nearly rolled trucks because the ground was soft and it pulled it into a ditch. Yeah. I've got stories. Lots. And I have tried to lead and or help other drivers that are new to this industry by example. Yeah, been there, done that. Some guy came rolling in with concrete caked into his... Oh my God. It took us hours to get his truck cleaned up. It was not a good day for him. And when he pulled up, I asked him, you just come from XYZ? How'd you know? You ain't been here 3 months. I know exactly where you came from. He was like, yeah, been there, done that. And it's about 2 or 3 times a year. It's that finisher. And the drivers are not versed enough to know what to do, what not to do, how to play the game to keep their trucks from turning out caked with crap and a complete hot mess of packed up turntable and concrete and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, it's a disaster. And when it happens to them once, it's almost as though they learn right then. Now, I can tell them how to avoid it. And if they don't take heed to what I say or write it down, this finisher, XYZ, if you go to these people and you have trucks in front of you, do not slump your load. Wait. Wait until it is your turn. You will waste water because you do not know how long it is going to take them to get one truck unloaded. Some of them might get done in 15 minutes. The other one might be sitting there for an hour and 30 minutes. And you're sitting there because they asked for 30 minutes apart. Dispatcher is following the directive, not realizing that the finishers who are doing the job are incompetent. That kind of crap. We run into it all the time. But when they're the new drivers, not females, doesn't even matter. I mean, new drivers. If they're not aware, this first time dealing with this kind of product and hauling this type of, asset type of thing, yeah, they get into that job, and I can guarantee you, at least once, they're going to drive back on that yard with a turntable full of hot concrete, and they ran out of water and they can't get it off. And we have to pound the shit out of it. And chisel and shovel and a couple hours worth of labor getting those chutes to clean out. Yeah, it's a mess. And the fins are caked. So once the fins get shit on them, it's real difficult to stop the growth. It's like a tumor. Once the cancer starts, it just grows and grows and grows. Yeah, concrete like that. So, anyway. That's the point. Nobody rode my coattails, but I did pave the road for them. And every now and then we get a rookie, and I try to patch the potholes. Help them out. But yeah, love my job. Love helping the new drivers. That is my thing. I'm not a big fan of the training. I get too uptight. And I'm too pushy, and it's just my nuances are just not pleasant enough for the training element. But you get the point. So anyway, that is the tie-on, and the ending gives you an idea. Who I am, what I do, where it all comes from. Have a great Tuesday. Yes, and thank you, everybody who's watched, understands, likes my content, likes my personality, likes my facial expressions. Yes, I have rubber face. Yeah. Peace.